sleep in the rig again tonight. And then we're headed for Fairbanks, North Pole and Fairbanks tomorrow. And then we'll come down through Denali tomorrow and maybe make our way home. So that's the plan. See you soon.
Exploring Alaska and taking you with us.
Yep. Well, we just went through, we stopped in Glen Allen, right? Yep, Glen Allen for dinner.
Radio Shack.
Power has always been a deadly narcotic, and in 1989, Radio Shack's Tandy 1000 SL was my drug of choice.
I'm actually impressed by Glen Allen. They have a Subway, and they have Wells Fargo. They have a motel and restaurant. The food was pretty decent. I had a chicken quesadilla, which was pretty good. Oh, they have these things all over Alaska. Our daughter calls them chicken coop coffee houses because she says they look like chicken coops. They are not chicken coops, but they're like these drive-through coffee huts. They're independently owned, and the coffee is usually really good.
And that is the Alaska pipeline. If we get a chance to stop and check it out, we will. Here we are. Here's the pipeline. Do not climb on it, Rebecca.
Okay. Oh gosh. No fun.
You can see it goes on down the way. Yeah. It's probably taller than you.
Everything's taller than me.
Now, is that
No. Oh, look at that. I can touch.
is that the river we hear?
Yeah,
I don't think
that's
it's,
the river.
yeah. So how do the barrels fit in the pipeline then?
You're funny. I don't know how wide it is. Maybe 3 feet wide? 3 feet diameter? You think?
3 feet? No. That's probably 6 feet.
Diameter?
Yeah. Oh,
Really?
well, I don't know what the circumference of it is, but yeah, diameter, it's probably 6 foot.
Yeah, I guess so.
So there's the pipeline.
There it is.
Straight road in Alaska. We don't see very many of those. This is country that neither Rebecca nor I have been through. If we see something exciting, we'll point it out. It's really hard to make an exciting video of a road trip because it's just, scenery going by. Try and create a storyline with that. But if we see something exciting, we'll stop and share. Told you we would stop and show you anything interesting, and I thought this was kind of interesting. Here's the pipeline going across the river. This is the Tanana River. We'll show you on the other side the delta. There's quite a delta on the other side of the road. concerned whether we were going to run into some forest fires. Looks like there may be some up there on the hill. It's raining, so that helps.
Every time we go somewhere, we always get a ornament for our Christmas tree, and we happen to be in North Pole, Alaska, and why would you not stop at the Santa Claus house and pick up an ornament? So here we are. Santa Claus himself is here in July. It is Christmas all year long at North Pole, so we are gonna get an ornament. So come along with us.
We're going through Fairbanks right now. We stopped to fuel up, and Fairbanks appears to be full of a lot of these kind of military concrete apartment complexes and weird buildings from the 70s. Kind of what it looks like to me. At least that's what we're seeing so far. It's a town. I've been to a town.
I've been to a town, yeah.
So this is the Great Alaskan Bowl Company. Rebecca's wanting to come here and check it out, so we're going to go in and see what it's all about. This is Stampede Trail, and if you're familiar with the story of Christopher McCandless, Into the Wild, I don't know, it's just kind of a special place for me anyways. And I know there's controversy. Was he as an adventure thrill seeker that pushed it too far, or was he just not prepared? 1988, I put the sleeping bag on the back of my motorcycle and took off and rode around the country for about a month or so. So I get the idea of wanting to sort of get away from it. If you're not familiar with the story, I encourage you to look into it. But they removed the bus. They delivered it to University of Fairbanks, University of Alaska, something like that. They then put it on display for a while, for not display, but sort of a museum, and they're going to make a, I don't know about memorial, but they're going to make a museum for it with talking points. And anyhow, the families donated maybe $150,000, something like that. Of course, then the university needs additional funding to put in lights and security and fences, which is the exact concept this kid was talking about. Just leave things wild the way they are. So I don't know, just a unique place. This is the Stampede Trail, and it's where Christopher McCandless was dropped off before he headed off into the wilderness. Well, I'm back to working on the roof project here. I went and bought some materials and ready to get started, I guess. The plan is I'm going to nail, I don't know if you guys really care what the plan is, or you just like to see me doing what I'm doing. I don't know. So what's happening here is this board here broke at the base right there, kind of at the fulcrum point. This needs to go up. So all this needs to go up. Then that 2x4, I'm going to push up as high as I can, nail it, and then I'll put some big screws in to give it more of a lever, more of a shelf to rest on. And then I can do the soffit board out here, the fascia board out here. So now you see this board now has a shelf to rest on here. So I could probably just nail it. It's probably good enough. Okay, so now I think I'm going to nail that thing in better. A couple more nails. And then I'm going to get the staple gun out and staple these things back onto the deck. And I got a couple there I need to cut off to get that deck back flat. Well, here's the part of the audio that didn't come out good. What I'm explaining is that my work was miserable. The angle that starts from the chimney down does not match the angle at the eave. And so when I put the trim piece on, it did not line up. You can see right here how horrible it is. From where I was working the angle, I couldn't see that. But now when you look at it, it's pretty obvious. And so I have to undo everything that you've seen already and start over with that fascia board. Just like that. I had a little red down here doing some yard work, and one of the clips came off, and so I had to take it up and straighten it out, and then dinner was ready and something else happened, and it just sat out here for a couple of days, but it was parked on the angle here. And so while it did that, the back tire went flat. So I went to put air in it, and it's off the bead. The tires come off the bead. So I need to jack it up and probably strap it and see if I can get it to hold to put air back in it. I don't normally do things normal. The jack is heavy, the deck is high. If I go any other route, I'm gonna have to lift that thing up onto the deck. And this seemed like the easiest path. We'll be replacing these tiles someday soon, I imagine. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm just dragging the jack through the house. So here's the problem. I've got this here board, and it's got everything straight all the way down to here. Right here, I've got this little gap right there. And that means that this needs to go up, which that's a straight board, so the whole thing needs to go up. For just that little piece, the whole thing needs to go up. And I think the only way to do that is to jack it up. So I'm going to put this 2x4 right here. I'm going to cut it to length, put it on the jack. I think I'm going to put a notch in the end of this so it holds that, and screw it to it so it can't pop off. And then I'm going to jack it up and see if I can lift this up. I don't know what else to do. That's how it used to be. Unless they had a curved board. Maybe they bought Home Depot lumber. You know, when you put pressure on things, they relieve the pressure wherever is easiest, I guess. Well, something just popped up there. A little rock fell down and everything kind of lined up a little better. So I'm going to get the hammer and start tapping and drilling and see if I can get this board situated where it needs to be. Let's go release this jack and the 2x4 and see what happens. Nice and easy. I'm going to stand over here out of the dangerous way. Yeah, that 2x4 has got a bow in it right there. Let the pressure come off of it. Pressure's off. Take this thing out of the way. What I did was cut 2 1/4 inches off of the end of that, so it'll slide up into its groove, and it should line up with the end here, close enough, and we can nail it down and maybe be done with this portion. See if it fits in there. Got a wrestler in there a bit. That's not too bad. We got a little hole here where the soffit was broken. This board, I know it looks horrible, but what you need to know is that I'm going to put a piece like this over it. So this trim is going to go over the top of it. That's another thing I got in the front yard waiting to go on. So the other thing is that the back side of this, has a groove notched into it that soffit goes into. And so I could have got a different board. I wish that would curl in, but that's just wood that's aged and it's curved. I can't really pull it back in. That metal will go over that. You won't see any of that. So not too bad compared to what we had. At least it's straighter than the first attempt. You know, if I'm happy with something, it's pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with that. So given the fact that I'm going to cover it anyways. The next is to put metal panels on the roof that got busted up when the tree fell. And I've still got some extra panels here from putting the roof project together. These are for the chimney or the well. I'd like to case that in, make it look a little nicer. So I've got these available. I'm gonna pull one of these, we'll clean it up, prep it, show you how I did that. I don't think I did a very good job of showing you that on the roofing project, and then we'll put it on the roof. So I've got to start over. I did all that work on the last one and bent it up, and it was perfect, and it was wrong. I got to start over. So now I'm going to cut this at 150, nibble the edge of it off, bend it over on that end, and get back to work. All right. So I found that if I push the tool all the way up against here and then make the bend, there's no radius for that bend to be made, and it rips the metal right there. So I got to back this off about that far on both sides, about that far. And I got these little gauges right here I was using that just slip in there like that. Kind of a go, no go, I guess. There we go. So that gives me a gap here. Gives me a gap right here. So when I make that bend, the radius is okay. So that's the first thing. Second thing is that this is all made out of 24 gauge steel. We didn't know it when we ordered it, but that's all they offer this color in, was 24 gauge. So we got extra thick steel, which means it's more difficult to bend. So I use a crowbar and I put that on the handle there. You see this? We had to make this adapter on the tool here to give it more of a radius, and I'll show you that in a little bit why that is. But the tool that the company sells was not correct. All right, we're gonna bend this right here up and over. Once I get it down to this point here, I can then just bend it with my hands. And I found I could bend it with my hands the whole way, but doing a whole roof worth, why would you do that to yourself? So we'll set that aside. And we'll grab our little clippers. Now we got our little tool here that I put felt on the inside so it didn't scratch the panels. Put these inside there and then smash it down. And I keep those in there because I can smash it tighter and make that be a real tight radius, but I don't want that. I want a certain radius on the end of that metal to be able to clip onto the drip edge. I'll show you that here in just a minute. So there we go, just kind of getting that clamped on, just like that. Okay, so those are smashed down. Now I got to cut it to length. So I'm going to throw this on here and we'll go together. 150 inches down here. 150 inches right there. I'm going to go take the screws out of the deck because I might need them. I don't remember if I took them out. They're still in there. See this right here? This is the drip edge. And when I bend that metal, it folds underneath so it can snap onto this edge right here. Then we put the screws in. So that's what that's all about. That's what all the bending and everything was for. set it down on there. You'll see also that this snaps onto this. So this part of the panel snaps onto here, covers the screws that are on this one. See there? So the first thing is to pull it up onto that lip down there and then snap it into its neighbor. All right, so now the trick is to slide this up right there, right at the edge where it's ready to cup underneath. I got one mallet it down here. I'm just going to do one tap here. That gets it down level with the roof, and then I push it that way. There we go. Okay, so now that bend I just put in it is clipped onto that drip edge. Now I go along and step on this edge here and snap it into its neighbor. Then I put screws in that side, measure for the next one. We're gonna have to trim that because it's not a full panel. Put it on, and then there's a trim that goes on the edge of that. So now, if I just step on this right here, there we go. So that one's down. I'll get some screws in those holes. There we go. There's two. So thank you for watching. We appreciate it. Click all those buttons and subscribe and bells and all that stuff, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much.